front of me I have the Realme GT2 Pro, and today I'll go for unboxing along with a quick overview of this phone. Now it actually seems like a fairly interesting device just because it comes at around 750 euros, which is fairly cheap for a device that has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. So basically the best processor right now on the market. So I'm really curious where they decided to kind of cut the cost to meet that like 750 euro price tag, because they had to most likely take some costs to be to not create something that is just kind of mind-blowingly cheap compared to other phones. So yeah, I just pop it open. That's kind of weird. The future in paper. Not exactly sure what they mean. Maybe there's something interesting in here. Quick guide, so that's not very interesting. Just an instruction. Yep, so nothing really interesting in here. Not sure what feature they're talking about. Then we get a phone. Gonna set it to the side for now. We get a case. We get a decent charger right here. This looks to be like what, 60-watt charger? I can actually see it, but that might be a little bit difficult. Yeah, I can't really tell. They should like have a normal writing somewhere. No. I guess I'll find it out in a moment once I launch the camera. Hopefully I can just zoom onto it and see it. The writing right here, the one that is barely visible, most likely will tell me what the charging speed is, because this one does not show you here. It's just super dark. It doesn't really tell me the speeds. And obviously Type C to Type A charger. And that's basically all we get in here. Okay, so let's toss that to the side, get the phone out. Oh, come on, there we go. It's a weird texture. It feels kind of rubbery, but kind of not. It's like a weird textured plastic with some maybe rubber coating to it. I can't really explain it, but yeah, let's turn it on. Okay, so while it's turning on, I'm gonna quickly touch upon the specs right here. So we're looking at a 6.7-inch display. 1440p resolution. It's an LTPO AMOLED or LTPO2 AMOLED, which I assume just refers to it being a high refresh rate with a hole punch camera. That's usually what these kind of things refer to. But in general, like simple terms, it's just an AMOLED display with a 1 billion colors, 120 Hz refresh rate. That's basically the important parts of it. The rest is not that, like the naming doesn't really matter too much. So to put that even in more simpler terms, display good. Anyway, apparently peak brightness right here is a whopping 1400 nits. That is actually quite high. Now in typical circumstances, you're most likely not going to experience the 1400 nits even when you max out the brightness, just because it is a little bit based usually on the environment brightness. So as an example, in here, if I would max out the brightness, I will not get even close to the 1400 nits. But I assume if I would go into direct sunlight with that peak brightness, it would brighten up the display further, achieving that like super high brightness. So there we go. Once it's set up, we're greeted with fairly bland wallpaper that mimics just the back right here with similar color, though this is a little bit darker. So yeah, not the most appealing wallpaper, but oh well. Let's just also pop on the case. And there we go. So that's kind of how it looks like in a case. Now, well, on the back, we can touch upon the cameras. So we're looking at a two cameras that boast a 50 megapixel sensor, wide and ultra wide. And we also have a 3 megapixel microscope. You know what? That got my interest peaked. They call it a microscope. Let's see how wrong this is. Microscope, there we go. So I'm gonna grab my microfiber cloth just because it has things that I could consider to be decent for it. Let's also make sure that it is. That's actually interesting. It turns on flash camera or flashes just so it brights up the actual image. And holy crap, that is insane. Damn, that is insane. That is absolutely ridiculous. I was not expecting that, to be honest. The reason why I wasn't expecting this is I usually compare this to my phone, which has a what they call a super macro lens, right? You can see it is, I mean, apart from it, the fact that it is a little bit blown out. Let me just maybe lower the brightness a little bit. Maybe that will help out. Nope, that's now too low. Okay, hopefully this will look decent. So you can kind of see this is really good for a macro lens, right? But yeah, this actually this surprised me. This is insane. So yeah, okay. I have to say 5 megapixel, or not 5, a 3 megapixel microscope is doing some work here. And yeah, it is doing it really well. So yeah, that's one. And actually, hey, look at that. We can actually utilize this to see what's the wattage of the charger. If we can get, Max, come on. I literally cannot get close enough. It says max 65. You can kind of see it in a blurry, right? Kind of scooting over. So yeah, it looks to be max 65 watt. Yep. Okay, so you can see right here, 10 watts at 6.5 amps, so 65 watts. Okay, so the camera actually came in really clutch right here to give us the charger speed. Okay, and moving on, I'm already gonna say I'm kind of impressed with this. The build quality is just mediocre in my opinion. Just not my preference, I guess. So maybe I should stress that it's not my preference. I guess the build is fine if you don't mind. This. Now, moving on, we're looking at a couple different storage types, just versions, I guess. And the one that I have right here is, if I can actually find the info somewhere. So I have the 256 with 12 gigs of RAM. So this is a more spec'd out version of this phone. So obviously it will not come at the 750 euro price tag. It's going to be more expensive, probably closer to like 900. The base model, which comes with 12 gigs of, 128 gigs of storage with 8 gigs of RAM, will be the base 750 euros. Then you can go for 256 8 gigs, 256 12 gigs, 512 gigs, 12 gigs of RAM. And all these options boast a UFS 3.1 storage. So this is going to be a fairly really fast storage, not fairly, but yeah, it's basically the best one you can get at the moment for Android. I think it's only behind Apple's M.2 storage, I think they use, or something like that. So yeah, or NVMe, that's what they use. So that one is going to be faster compared to the UFS 3.1. And what else is there to say? The phone is actually surprisingly really good for the price. So continuing, one last thing about these storages. There is no expandable storage right here. So if you need more than, for instance, 128 gigs of storage, you will basically need to cough up a little bit more for the higher storage. Or, as you can see, or what you can utilize is, as an example, something like this. So I do have an SD card right here, as you can clearly see, and this is a Type-C, and I can plug it in and it just kind of extends the storage, and then I can offload whatever's on the phone to here, remove it from the phone, and just free up some space. Not the most ideal solution, but it is a solution if you're struggling with space and you don't want to spend more on just a more expensive version of this device just so you have more storage in your device. So that is, like I said, a solution. Now, moving on to the last parts, we have a 5000 milliamp hour battery. We have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, so basically the flagship right here. We have an under finger display sensor, which I'm gonna quickly set up just so hopefully you can get a look at how quick it works. Password and security, let's go with fingerprint, continue, numeric. There we go, good enough. Okay, now let's just scan our finger. Additionally, haptic feedback right here, feels nice. Doesn't feel like super cheap or anything. It's not the best one, but for the price, I honestly can't complain. It feels nice when pressing it. You feel that like the nice little thump on the haptic feedback, so yeah. Okay, so there we go, there's our fingerprint enrolled. That is fast. That's good. Yep. So just like literally tapping on it doesn't really unlock it. You just have to hold it for like a split second longer and it gets it. It's really good fingerprint sensor right here under the display. So can't complain about that either. So yeah, to be completely honest, the only thing that kind of bugs me is the back. It's not my style really. We do have a couple different options right here in terms of just what do we have. So we have, I guess they refer to a paper kind of, which let me see. Does it even feel like paper? Not really. I can't really say that this feels like paper. But yeah, we have paper white, green, which this obviously is green. We have a steel black and titanium blue. So these are all the colors. Probably I would be going with something like a steel black or titanium blue with hopefully a different kind of finish on the back, just because I personally don't really it makes, in my opinion, feel like the device feels a little bit cheaper than it is. And this phone, honestly, for the price that it costs, at this point blowing me out of the water. This is outstanding phone for what you pay and what you get. Just so good. Previously, I would have said that Xiaomi 12 had a decent phone, though I would have been probably going with the Xiaomi 12X, which is like the budget version, which doesn't have the newest Snapdragon, but it boasts basically everything that you'd expect from your device, and it did it for like 600 to 700. This costs not much more, and basically does everything that the device would have done, but better. And I am at this point really impressed with this phone. So yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be honestly this good. So yeah, honestly I don't know what else to say. I'm just kind of blown out by this. So yeah, anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.